Hello and welcome to the vintage rocking chair. I've always loved vintage furniture. The wear and tear, the little imperfections give it a unique story to tell. The moment I saw that vintage rocking chair at the yard sale, I knew I couldn't pass it up. It was charming in a way only old furniture could be. The dark wood was etched with delicate carvings of vines and leaves, and even though the seat had a couple of scratches, it looked sturdy. I could already picture it in my living room, tucked in the corner by the window. How much for the rocking chair? I asked, running my hand along the armrest. The woman running the sale barely looked at me as she muttered, $20. It was a steal, but her tone gave me pause. She seemed eager to get rid of it. An antique, right? I pressed, curious about the history. It's old, she said, shrugging. Do you want it or not? Her dismissive attitude should have been a red flag, but I chalked it up as her just wanting to clear out her clutter. I handed her the 20, loaded the chair in my car, and drove home, excited to find the perfect spot for it. The chair fit perfectly by the bay window. I spent the rest of the afternoon rearranging my living room around it, placing a throw blanket over the back of it, as well as a small rug underneath it. By the time I was done, it looked like it had always been there. That evening, I sat in the chair for the first time with a book and a cup of tea. The wood creaked softly under my waist with a gentle rocking motion. Around 11 p.m., I turned off the light and went to bed. As I lay there in the dark, I heard it. I heard it. A faint creaking sound coming from the living room. It was rhythmic, like someone gently rocking back and forth in the chair. I sat up, listening. The sound continued for a few moments before stopping. It's just the wood settling, I told myself, though my heart was racing. I rolled over and tried to sleep, but the sound stayed with me. The creaking became a nightly occurrence. Sometimes it was faint, other times louder, as if someone was pushing the chair harder. I started avoiding the living room at night, opting to stay in my bedroom with the door closed. One morning, I walked into the living room and froze. The chair was slightly out of place, angled toward the window. Maybe I bumped it, I thought, but I knew it wasn't true. I was careful not to touch it as I vacuumed the day before, and I lived alone, so there's no one else that could have moved it. I shoved the chair back into place and went on about my day, trying to convince myself it was nothing. One night, I decided to test the chair. After dinner, I sat in it, rocking gently, trying to see if there was something mechanical about the movement or sound. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Before going to bed, I put a small piece of tape underneath one of the chair legs, marking its position. If it moves again, I would know for sure. I woke up about 2 a.m. to the loudest creaking sound yet. It was violent. The sound of wood straining as the chair rocked back and forth with force. I threw on my robe and ran into the living room. The chair was rocking seriously. The throw blanket draped over the back fell on the floor. "Stop it!" I shouted, even though I had no idea of who or what I was yelling at. The chair stopped abruptly, the room falling into an eerie silence. My eyes darted to the tape mark. The chair had moved several inches off its original spot. That was the first time that I truly felt afraid. I left the light on that night, sitting on the couch, watching the chair until dawn. The next evening, as I was locking up, I heard something new. A faint whisper, low and unintelligible, coming from the living room. I inched closer to the doorway, heart pounding. The whispering grew louder, even though I couldn't make out the words. It seemed to be coming from the chair. "Who's there?" The whispering stopped. I backed away, grabbed my phone, and called my friend Anna. "I need you to come over," I said, fighting to maintain a calm tone. Anna arrived 20 minutes later, rolling her eyes as I told her about the chair. "You're just hearing things," she said, while plopping down on the couch. But then the creaking started again. Anna froze, her eyes widening as she stared at the chair. "Okay," she whispered. "That's not normal." The final straw came 2 nights later. I decided to sleep in the living room, thinking my presence would keep the chair from moving. Around 3 a.m., I woke to a loud bang. Louder than that. There, that's better. Okay. The chair was rocking violently, slamming against the wall with each swing. The throw blanket had fallen to the floor. I jumped up, backing away as the chair continued its relentless movement. I grabbed my keys and I ran out of the house, not stopping until I was safely in my car. The next morning, I dragged the chair out to the curb, leaving a sign that simply read, "Free." I didn't care who took it. I just wanted it gone. By the time I checked again, the chair was gone. But I didn't feel relieved. No, the living room felt empty, but not the comforting way. For weeks later, I couldn't help but to feel I had brought something into my home with that chair. Now, whenever I see a piece of vintage furniture, I hesitate. There's no way to tell what history it carries or what might be attached to it. And as much as I love the charm of that rocking chair, I've learned one thing. Some treasures aren't worth the trouble they bring. Thank you very much. Thank you.